The smell hit before he even saw it. Sour. Wrong. Marcus Reed paused, fingers hovering over the silver lid. First-class cabin. Soft lighting. Quiet luxury. Everything looked perfect. Except this. He lifted the lid slowly. A few green spots stared back at him. Mold. Small. But real. Marcus didn't react right away. Across the aisle, a man laughed as a fresh meal was served. Steam rising. Clean plate. Normal. Marcus looked back down at his tray. Then up. Excuse me. The flight attendant turned. Blonde. Perfect smile. Yes, sir. Marcus tilted the tray slightly. This doesn't look safe. She barely glanced. It's standard catering. It's Moldy. Her smile tightened. I'm sure it's fine. Marcus held her gaze. Would you eat it? Silence. Just for a second. Then, I can replace it, she said, voice thinner now. Marcus nodded once. Please. She picked up the tray, but as she turned away, she muttered, low, sharp, meant to be private. People like you always complain. Marcus froze. Not shocked, not loud, just still, because he heard it, every word. Slowly, he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, set it down, camera facing forward, and pressed record. Because today, she picked the wrong passenger. The tray didn't belong. Marcus knew at the moment he saw it. Same white plate, same layout, but something felt off. He didn't touch it right away. Instead, he looked around. Row 2. A man in a gray suit was laughing. A fresh plate sat in front of him, steam rising. Across the aisle, a woman sipped wine, smiling as the attendant leaned closer, warm, friendly. Marcus looked back at his own tray. Still, quiet. Excuse me. The attendant turned. Same tight smile. Yes, sir. Marcus tapped the edge of the tray lightly. Could you check this? She stepped closer, barely leaned in. It's standard catering. Marcus lifted the lid again. Slow, deliberate. Look again. A pause. She glanced. Quick, then straightened. It's fine. Marcus didn't move. There's mold. Her smile didn't break, but her eyes changed. Just slightly. I don't see anything. Marcus tilted the tray toward her. Closer now. Close enough that she had to see. Green spots. Small, but clear. Silence. Just for a second. Then, I can replace it, she said. Flat. Marcus nodded. Please do. She took the tray, turned, walked away. But not fast, not urgent, just annoyed. Marcus leaned back, hands resting calmly, breathing steady. But his eyes followed her, carefully, watching, learning. A few rows ahead. She stopped, picked up another tray. That one looked fresh, clean, perfect. She brought it back, set it down. There you go. No smile now, just service. Marcus looked at it, then at her. What changed? She blinked. I'm sorry. This one looks different. It's the same meal. Marcus shook his head once. No, it isn't. Her jaw tightened. It is. Marcus leaned back slightly. Not aggressive, just firm. The first one had mold. It did not. It did. Her voice sharpened. You're mistaken. Marcus paused, then asked, would you eat it? That did it. Her expression cracked. Just a little. Enough. I've already replaced it, she said. Tension rising. Marcus nodded slowly. I notice. Silence. Heavy now. The man across the aisle glanced over. Just for a moment. Then back to his meal. Marcus lowered his voice. Calm. Controlled. This isn't about the food. She didn't respond. But she didn't leave either. Then what is it about? She asked. There it was. Edge. Marcus met her eyes. Respect. A beat. Then her lips moved. Soft. Almost hidden. These people always say that. Marcus didn't react. Didn't blink. Didn't shift. But something inside him settled. Clear now. This wasn't a mistake. He reached into his jacket. Slow. Deliberate. Pulled out his phone. Set it on the armrest. Screen facing up. Camera forward. Click. Recording. The attendant noticed. Her eyes dropped, then lifted again. What are you doing? Marcus's voice stayed even. Documenting. You can't record me. I can record my experience. Her posture stiffened. You need to stop. Marcus didn't move. No. The word landed softly, but it held weight. Passengers nearby shifted slightly, attention growing. The cabin felt different now. Tighter, warmer. She glanced around, then leaned closer. Lower voice. This won't go the way you think. Marcus held her gaze. It already has. A pause. Then she straightened, turned, walked away. Faster this time. Not calm anymore. Marcus watched her go, then looked down at his phone. Still recording. Still steady. Across the aisle, the man looked over again. Longer this time. Not ignoring it now. Just watching. Marcus leaned back. Closed his eyes for a brief second. Then opened them. Focused. Sharp. Because this wasn't over. Not even close. And somewhere behind him, a voice spoke. Quiet. Careful. I saw the first tray. Marcus didn't turn. Not yet. But he heard it. And that changed everything. Marcus didn't turn right away. He kept his eyes forward. Calm. Measured. But his voice dropped slightly. You saw it. A pause behind him. Then, yeah. Quiet. Careful. Marcus turned just enough to see him. Middle-aged. Plain shirt. No attitude. Just honest. It wasn't right, the man added. Marcus studied his face for a second, looking for doubt. There wasn't any. Thank you, Marcus said. The man gave a small nod, then leaned back, like he wasn't sure how far to go. Like most people, Marcus faced forward again. But now, he wasn't alone. The attendant moved through the aisle. Same pace, same posture. But Marcus watched closer now. Every move, every choice. Row 4. A black woman sat by the window. Headphones on, laptop open. The attendant passed her. No stop, no drink offer, no eye contact. Marcus frowned slightly. Waited. Maybe she'd come back. She didn't. 2 rows ahead. A white couple laughed softly. The attendant leaned in. Warm smile. Can I get you anything else? Another wine? The man asked. Of course. Friendly. Easy. Natural. Marcus's jaw tightened. Just a little. Behind him, the witness spoke again. You see that? Marcus nodded once. I do. The woman in row 4 finally looked up, glanced around, confused, like she knew something was missing, but didn't want to assume. Marcus pressed his lips together, thinking, not reacting. The attendant returned with wine, set it down carefully, laughed at something the couple said, stayed a second longer than needed, then turned and walked past row 4 again. Still nothing. Marcus exhaled slowly. That's twice, he said quietly. The man behind him leaned forward. Yeah, a beat. She skipped me earlier too. Marcus turned slightly. You. The man nodded. No drink. Nothing. Now it was clearer. Not random. Not a mistake. A pattern. Marcus glanced at his phone. Still recording. Still steady. Across the aisle. The same man from before looked over again. This time, he didn't look away. Marcus met his eyes. Held them. Just for a second. The man shifted in his seat. Uncomfortable. But aware. Silence spread. Thicker now. Heavier. Marcus spoke softly. Not to anyone. But loud enough. This is how it works. No one answered. But people heard. The attendant returned again. This time, directly to Marcus. Her face controlled. But tighter now. I need you to stop recording. Marcus didn't look up immediately. Finished adjusting his sleeve. Then, I'm not. Her voice lowered. This is against airline policy. Marcus finally looked at her. Show me. She blinked. I don't have to. Then don't say it. A pause. Sharp. Her eyes flicked around. Passengers watching. Listening. You're making people uncomfortable, she said. Marcus tilted his head slightly. I didn't serve mold. A small reaction from nearby seats. Subtle. But real. Her jaw clenched. You're escalating this. Marcus shook his head. No. Beat. You are. Silence again. Behind him, the witness shifted, then spoke. Clearer this time. He's right. Everything paused. Just for a second, the attendant turned. Looked at him. Eyes sharp now. You need to stay out of this. The man didn't back down. I saw it. A woman across the aisle leaned forward slightly. I did too. Now, it was spreading. The attendant straightened, trying to regain control. This is not appropriate. Marcus's voice stayed calm. Neither is discrimination. That word landed. Heavy. Passengers shifted again. No one fully silent now. No one fully comfortable either. The attendant stepped closer. Lower voice. Tight. Be very careful what you're accusing. Marcus didn't move. Didn't blink. I am. A long pause. Then, from row 4, the woman finally spoke. Quiet, but clear. Excuse me, I haven't been served. All eyes turned. The attendant froze. Just for a moment, then forced a smile. I'll be right with you. But the moment had already shifted. Marcus leaned back, watching, not satisfied, but certain, because now it wasn't hidden anymore. The attendant moved quickly now, too quickly, trying to fix things, control the narrative. She brought a drink to row 4, overcorrecting. Too polite now, too obvious. The woman accepted it slowly. Eyes narrowed, aware. Marcus looked down at his phone again. Everything was there. Every moment. Every choice. Behind him, the witness spoke one more time. You're not going to let this go, are you? Marcus paused, then answered quietly. No. A beat. Good, the man said. Marcus leaned back, eyes forward, calm, focused, because now it wasn't just about him. And somewhere near the front of the cabin, a call button lit up. Crew only. The attendant pressed it. Quick, sharp. Marcus saw it, and he understood this was about to get bigger. The air felt tighter now. Not louder, just heavier. Marcus sat still, hands resting on the armrest, phone recording, eyes forward. Footsteps approached, faster this time, more deliberate. The attendant stopped beside him. No smile now, no softness. Sir, I need you to turn that off. Marcus didn't look up immediately. Why? Her jaw tightened. You're creating a disturbance. Marcus glanced around. Passengers were quiet, watching, no one speaking. Looks peaceful to me, he said. Her voice sharpened. This is your final warning. Marcus turned his head slowly, met her eyes. Or what? A pause. Too long. She didn't have an answer ready, so she reached for one. I can have you removed when we land. There it was. Authority. Or at least the attempt. Marcus nodded once. Noted. The calmness in his voice made it worse. For her. You think this is a game? She said. Marcus shook his head slightly. No. Beat. I think this is being recorded. A ripple moved through the nearby seats. Subtle, but real. The man across the aisle leaned back, watching openly now, not hiding it. The witness behind Marcus spoke again. You're overdoing it. The attendant turned sharply. I told you to stay out of this. The man didn't raise his voice, but he didn't shrink either. I'm not in it. Beat. I'm watching it. Silence. Marcus stepped in, voice calm, measured. You've made your position clear. She turned back to him. Eyes cold. And you've made yours. Marcus nodded. Yes. A pause. Then he added, you denied the food was moldy. It wasn't. You skipped passengers. I did not. You told me to stop recording. Yes. Each line landed. Clean. Simple. Undeniable. The rhythm shifted. Now it felt like something else. Not an argument. An account. Her shoulders stiffened. You're twisting this. Marcus shook his head. No. Beat. I'm preserving it. That word hit harder. She glanced around again. Too many eyes now. Too much attention. Control was slipping. Sir, she said, try to reset. If you continue this behavior, Marcus interrupted. Not louder, just faster. What behavior? A pause. She hesitated again. Small, but visible. Recording, she said. Marcus leaned back slightly. That's not behavior. Beat, that's evidence. The word spread through the silence. Someone shifted in their seat. Another passenger leaned forward. The cabin wasn't neutral anymore. It was watching. The attendant stepped closer. Lower voice. More controlled now. This can escalate. Marcus met her gaze. It already has. A long pause. Then, from across the aisle, the man spoke. You should just apologize. Everything froze. The attendant turned slowly. Looked at him. What? She said. He didn't back down. You gave him bad food. Beat. You skip people. Beat. Just fix it. The simplicity of it made it heavier. Her face tightened. I've already resolved the situation. Marcus spoke quietly. No. She snapped back toward him. Yes. Marcus shook his head. You replaced the tray. Beat. You didn't address the problem. Silence again. The woman in row 4 spoke. Calm. Clear. He's right. Now, it wasn't isolated. It was forming. The attendant's breathing changed. Slightly faster. You're all making assumptions, she said. Marcus replied. No. Beat. We're observing patterns. Another ripple. The word patterns stayed in the air because it meant something bigger, something harder to deny. She straightened again, resetting, grabbing control where she could. I'm calling my supervisor, she said. There it was. Marcus nodded once. Good. That answer caught her off guard. She expected resistance, not agreement. You'll explain this to her, she added. Marcus leaned back. Calm. I will. She hesitated, just for a moment, then turned, walked away. Faster, tighter. The tension didn't leave with her. It stayed. Marcus exhaled slowly, not relief, just control. Behind him, the witness leaned forward again. You good? Marcus nodded. I am. A beat. You're handling this different, the man said. Marcus thought for a second, then answered, I've had practice. That line sat heavy, because it carried history, experience, not new, just repeated. Across the aisle, the man spoke again. You think they'll actually do something? Marcus looked forward, eyes steady. They will today. A pause. Why? The man asked. Marcus didn't answer right away. Then he glanced down at his phone, still recording. Because now, he said quietly, they have to. Footsteps approached again, different this time, slower, measured, authority. Marcus lifted his eyes and saw her, the supervisor, standing in the aisle, watching everything. The supervisor didn't speak right away. She stood in the aisle, still, observing, mid-40s, composed, professional, different energy, not rushed, not emotional. Marcus sat upright, calm, watching her back. The attendant stood beside her, rigid, too rigid. This is the passenger, the attendant said quickly, like she needed to speak first. Control the story. The supervisor didn't look at her. Not yet. Her eyes stayed on Marcus. Sir, she said, voice steady. I'm told there's a concern. Marcus nodded once. There was a pause. Is it resolved? She asked. Marcus tilted his head slightly. No. The attendant shifted beside her. Yes, it is. She cut in. I replaced a meal. The supervisor lifted a hand slightly. Not aggressive. Just enough. Let him speak. Silence. The balance shifted. Small, but real. Marcus leaned forward slightly. The issue wasn't just the food. The supervisor nodded. Go on. Marcus gestured lightly. First tray had mold. The attendant exhaled sharply. That's not true. The supervisor didn't react, still watching Marcus. I asked her to check it, Marcus continued. She dismissed it. A pause. I asked if she would eat it. Silence. She couldn't answer. The supervisor's eyes flicked briefly to the attendant, then back. Marcus continued. Then she replaced it. The supervisor nodded slowly. Okay. The attendant stepped forward. It was standard catering. He misunderstood. Marcus didn't look at her. Didn't need to. I also observed something else, Marcus said. The supervisor's focus sharpened. What? Marcus glanced briefly down the aisle, then back. Selective service. A beat. Passengers being skipped. The attendant shook her head. That's not accurate. Marcus continued. Row 4. The supervisor turned. Looked. The woman there sat quietly, drink now in hand, watching. You weren't served initially, Marcus said. The woman hesitated, then nodded. Not at first. Silence. The supervisor turned back slowly. Marcus added. Others noticed too. Behind him, the witness spoke. I did. Across the aisle, the man added. Same here. Now, it wasn't one voice. It was multiple. The supervisor's posture shifted slightly. More alert now. More engaged. She turned to the attendant. Why wasn't that passenger served? The attendant blinked. It was a timing issue. Marcus spoke calmly. Twice. The supervisor looked back at her. Twice. The attendant hesitated. Just for a second. I was managing multiple rows. Marcus nodded slightly. I noticed. That line landed. Quiet, but pointed. The supervisor stepped closer to Marcus, lowered her voice. Sir, are you recording this? Marcus met her eyes. Yes. A pause. The attendant jumped in. That's against policy. The supervisor raised her hand again, not looking at her. I'll handle this. Silence. She turned back to Marcus. May I ask why you're recording? Marcus answered simply. Clarity. The word sat there. Clean. The supervisor studied him. Carefully. Then, do you feel you've been treated unfairly? Marcus didn't rush. Didn't exaggerate. Yes. A beat. Why? Marcus held her gaze. Because the service changed based on who I am. Silence. Not loud, but heavy. The attendant stepped forward again. That's an accusation. Marcus nodded once. Yes. The supervisor turned to her. Now fully. Did you make any comments to the passenger? The attendant's eyes flicked. Quick. No. Marcus spoke. She did. The supervisor looked back. What was said? Marcus didn't hesitate. People like you always complain. The words landed. Hard. A shift. Immediate. The supervisor's face changed. Subtle, but clear. She turned slowly to the attendant. Did you say that? Silence. The attendant swallowed. I don't recall. Marcus didn't react. Behind him, the witness spoke again. She said something like that. The woman in row 4 added, I heard a comment too. Now, it was no longer contained. The supervisor straightened. Fully. Her tone changed. Not louder. Just firmer. This is serious. The attendant's composure cracked. Just slightly. This is being exaggerated, she said. Marcus replied, No. The supervisor turned back to Marcus. Sir, may I have your name? A small moment. Quiet. But everything shifted here. Marcus reached into his jacket. Slow. Deliberate. Pulled out a card. Held it for a second. Then handed it to her. She took it. Looked down. Read. And paused. Her eyes lifted. Back to him. Different now. Mr. Reed. Marcus nodded once. Yes. Silence. But not the same silence. This one carried weight. Recognition. And something else. The beginning of consequences. The name didn't land loudly. It didn't need to. Mr. Reed. The supervisor said it again. Slower this time. Like she needed to be sure. Marcus held her gaze. Yes. A pause. The supervisor looked back down at the card, then up again. Something had changed. Posture, tone, awareness. Read Global Holdings? She asked. Marcus nodded once. I own it. Silence. Not confusion. Recognition. The supervisor straightened fully, like a switch had been flipped. Behind her, the attendant's expression shifted. Just slightly, but enough. Because now she understood. This wasn't just a passenger. This was risk. The supervisor took a small step back, resetting, recalculating. "Mr. Reed," she said carefully, "thank you for bringing this to our attention." The words were polished, professional, different. Marcus noticed. Of course he did. "Nothing changed," he said calmly. The supervisor paused. Marcus continued. "Only your awareness did. That landed." She didn't argue, didn't deny it. Instead, "I understand your concern," she said. Marcus shook his head slightly. "No, Beat, you understand my name." Silence. The attendant shifted uncomfortably. "This is being taken out of context," she said quickly. The supervisor didn't look at her. "Not yet." Marcus spoke. "The context is clear." The supervisor nodded slowly. Then she turned, finally, to the attendant. "Step aside with me." The tone had changed. No longer equal. Instruction. They moved a few steps down the aisle. Still visible. Still close. Marcus didn't lean in. Didn't strain to hear. He didn't need to. The body language said enough. The supervisor spoke low. Firm. Controlled. The attendant responded. Faster. Defensive. Hands moving slightly. Trying to explain. Trying to recover. Passengers watched openly now. No pretending. The man across the aisle whispered, "Read like the company?" The witness behind Marcus answered quietly, "Yeah." A pause. "CEO?" the man asked. The witness nodded. Silence spread again. Different now. Not tension. Not confusion. Realization. Marcus sat still. Unchanged. Because for him, nothing had shifted. This moment, he had seen it before. The respect that arrives late. The tone that softens too quickly. It wasn't new. Just predictable. The supervisor returned. Alone this time. Her face composed. But tighter now. "Mr. Reed," she said, "I sincerely apologize for your experience." Marcus looked at her. Steady. "For the experience," he repeated. A pause. "Yes," she said. Marcus leaned back slightly. This wasn't an experience. Beat. It was a decision. Silence. The supervisor didn't interrupt. Marcus continued. "Food doesn't become moldy by accident in one seat." A small shift in her expression. "Service doesn't skip the same type of passengers twice." Another pause. "And comments like that," he let it sit, "they don't come from nowhere." The weight built, layer by layer. The supervisor exhaled slowly. "You're right," she said. That word mattered. Behind him, the witness leaned back, almost relieved. Marcus nodded once. "I know." A pause. Then the supervisor added, "This will be addressed immediately." Marcus glanced at his phone. Still recording. "I'm sure it will," he said. A beat. "Now." The supervisor held his gaze. Understood the message. Timing mattered. Because this wasn't just about apology. It was about action. The attendant stood a few steps away. Waiting. Still, but not calm anymore. Her confidence was gone. Replaced with something else. Uncertainty. The supervisor turned slightly. Looked toward the front of the cabin. Then back at Marcus. "I'm going to make a call," she said. Marcus nodded. "Please do." She stepped away. Pulled out her phone. Passengers watched her. Quiet. Focused. The call connected quickly. Her voice dropped. Professional. Urgent. Marcus didn't listen. He didn't need the details. He already knew what this meant. This had moved beyond the cabin, beyond the flight, into something bigger. Across the aisle, the man leaned forward. "You knew this would happen?" Marcus shook his head slightly. "I knew it could." A pause. "Why didn't you say anything earlier?" the man asked. Marcus looked at him. Calm. Would it have mattered? Silence. The man leaned back. No answer. Because they both knew. It wouldn't have. The supervisor ended the call. Turned. Walked back. Her pace was different now. Faster. More certain. She stopped in front of Marcus. "Mr. Reed." A pause. Then, "We'll be meeting this aircraft upon landing." There it was. Not internal anymore. Official. Marcus nodded once. Good. Behind her, the attendant stood frozen, because now this wasn't just a mistake. It was a consequence, and it was coming. The cabin didn't return to normal. It couldn't. Even the engine noise felt different now. Lower, heavier. Marcus sat still, phone steady, recording everything. The supervisor remained near the front, speaking quietly with another crew member. Short sentences, serious tone. This wasn't routine anymore. Across the aisle, the man leaned closer again. They're taking this seriously. Marcus didn't look at him. They have to. A pause. Because of who you are, the man asked. Marcus turned slightly, met his eyes. No, beat, because of what it shows. The man leaned back, thinking, because that answer was harder. Behind Marcus, the witness spoke softly. You think anything would have happened if you didn't record? Marcus paused. Then, no. The word landed flat. Honest. No one argued, because no one could. Movement near the front. The supervisor walked back. But this time, she wasn't alone. Another uniform. Senior crew. More authority. They stopped in the aisle, exchanged a look. Then, the senior crew member stepped forward. Sir, he said, voice calm, I'm part of the onboard management team. Marcus nodded once. We've been briefed on the situation. Marcus said nothing. Let him continue. We'd like to understand fully what occurred. Marcus gestured lightly toward his phone. It's all there. A pause. The man nodded. We appreciate that. Then he glanced at the supervisor, and we'll be reviewing it. Behind them, the attendant stood still. But now, she stepped forward. I'd like to clarify something, she said quickly. The tone had changed again, less confident, more urgent. I followed standard procedure, she continued. Marcus watched her, quiet. The passenger misunderstood the meal condition, she added. Marcus didn't interrupt, but the witness did. No, he didn't. The attendant turned sharply. You weren't involved. The man didn't back down. I was there. A beat. I saw it. The tension tightened again. The senior crew member raised a hand. Let's keep this structured, he said. Controlled. Firm. He turned to Marcus. Sir, can you confirm, did you feel targeted? Marcus didn't rush. Yes. A pause. Why? The man asked. Marcus answered simply. Because the behavior changed based on who was in the seat. Silence. The supervisor nodded slightly. The senior crew member exhaled. Then he turned to the attendant. Did you make any comments toward the passenger? She hesitated, just for a second. No. Marcus spoke. Yes, she did. The room, no, the cabin, tightened. The senior crew member looked back. What was said? He asked. Marcus didn't look away. People like you always complain. The words dropped again, heavier this time, because now they were official. The attendant shook her head quickly. That's not what I said. The witness spoke. It was close enough. The woman in row 4 added, I heard something too. Now, it wasn't isolated. It was supported. The senior crew member's expression hardened. Slightly, but clearly. He turned to the attendant. Step back. She froze. Now. She stepped back, slowly. The power shift was complete, not emotional, structural. Marcus watched it happen, quietly, because this part was always the same. Deny, delay, deflect, until evidence removes options. The senior crew member turned back. Sir, thank you for your patience. Marcus nodded once. I wasn't being patient. A pause. I was being precise. That line stayed. The supervisor looked at him. Different now. Respect. But not comfortable respect. Acknowledging something real. The senior crew member continued. This situation has been escalated beyond the aircraft. Marcus didn't react. We've contacted ground operations, he added. A beat. They will be present when we land. There it was. No ambiguity. No delay. Marcus leaned back slightly. Good. Behind him, the witness exhaled quietly, like something had settled, but not ended, because this wasn't resolution. This was transition. From private to public. The attendant stood alone now. No one near her. No support. No control. Passengers didn't look away anymore. They looked at her. Fully. And she felt it. Her posture changed. Less rigid. More uncertain. Because now, this wasn't about managing a passenger. This was about answering for herself. The captain's voice came over the speaker. We begun our initial descent. Calm. Routine. But nothing about this felt routine. Marcus looked out the window. Clouds breaking. City below. Closer now. Everything moving toward a point. Behind him. The witness spoke one last time. Whatever happens, you did the right thing. Marcus didn't turn. Didn't smile. He just said, I did what was necessary. A pause. Because right and necessary weren't always the same. And as the plane lowered, so did the distance between action and consequence. The wheels touched down softly, almost too softly, a quiet thud, then the long hum of rubber against runway. No one clapped. No one spoke. The cabin stayed still. Like everyone understood, this landing wasn't the end. It was a beginning. Marcus looked out the window. City lights stretched across the ground. Sharp, cold. Then he looked forward again. The attendant hadn't moved. Still near the galley, hands folded, too tight. The supervisor stood a few steps away, watching her, not speaking. The plane slowed, turned, taxied, time stretched. Behind Marcus, the witness leaned forward. Feels different, doesn't it? Marcus nodded once. It is... A pause. No one pretending anymore, the man said. Marcus didn't answer, because that was the truth. The captain's voice returned. Please remain seated. We'll be arriving at the gate shortly. Routine words, but the tone underneath wasn't. Movement outside the window. Vehicles. Staff. Waiting. Marcus noticed first. Then others. The man across the aisle leaned closer. Is that for this? Marcus glanced briefly. Yes. The man leaned back slowly, because now it was undeniable. This had gone beyond the cabin. The plane stopped. Engines lowered. A pause. Then nothing. No immediate door opening. No usual rhythm. Just waiting. The supervisor stepped forward, walked toward the front, spoke quietly into a phone. The attendant stayed where she was. Alone. Passengers watched. Not loudly, but fully, because now silence wasn't protection anymore. It was judgment. Marcus picked up his phone. Still recording. He didn't stop it. Not yet. The door at the front opened. Cool air shifted into the cabin. Then figures appeared. 2 airline officials. Dark suits. Serious faces. Behind them, security. Not aggressive, but present. The energy changed instantly. The supervisor walked forward to meet them. Quick exchange. Short, direct. Then she turned, looked straight down the aisle. At the attendant, please step forward. The words were calm, but final. The attendant didn't move at first, just stood there, processing. Then, slowly, she stepped forward, each step heavier than the last. Passengers followed her with their eyes. No whispers now, no side glances, just attention. She reached the front, stopped. The airline official spoke. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Her voice came out smaller than before. Is this necessary? The official held her gaze. Yes. A pause. She looked around, at the cabin, at the passengers, at Marcus, just for a second, then looked away, because now there was nothing left to control. The supervisor stepped beside her. You'll have a chance to explain, she said. Professional, measured, but not protective. The attendant swallowed, nodded, and stepped forward, out of the aisle, out of the space she once controlled. Gone. The cabin stayed quiet. Then the tension shifted again, not sharp anymore, but heavy, real. The airline official turned toward Marcus, walked down the aisle, stopped beside him. Mr. Reed, he said. Marcus looked up. Yes. The man nodded respectfully. Thank you for your patience. Marcus didn't react. I wasn't patient, he said. The official paused. Marcus added, I was documenting. A small shift in the man's expression. Understanding. Yes, he said. A beat. We'll need a copy of that. Marcus held his gaze. You'll have it. A pause. But not before I do. The man nodded. Fair. Behind Marcus, the witness leaned back. Quiet, because this part was no longer his role. The official stepped back. Please remain seated for a moment, he said. Marcus nodded, then leaned back, exhaled slowly. Not relief, not satisfaction, just release, because this was only one moment, one incident, in something much bigger. Across the aisle, the man spoke softly. You changed everything in here. Marcus looked at him. Calm. No, he said. A beat. I just didn't stay quiet. Silence followed, but it wasn't empty. It was full of something new, awareness. And as passengers began to slowly stand, one thing was clear. This flight would not be forgotten. The cabin doors were fully open now. Passengers began to move, slow at first, then steady. But no one rushed past Marcus, not like before. They looked at him. Some nodded, some didn't, but everyone knew. Marcus stood, picked up his briefcase, phone still in his hand. Recording. He stepped into the aisle. The witness stood behind him, met his eyes. You good? He asked. Marcus nodded. I will be. A pause. Send that video out. The man added quietly. Marcus didn't answer right away. Then, I will, because now it wasn't just proof, it was accountability. They moved forward, step by step. The jet bridge came into view, bright lights, and people waiting, more than before. 2 airline officials, security, and someone else, holding a phone, recording. Marcus noticed immediately. A woman, late 20s, focused, sharp, not crew, not passenger. Sir, are you Marcus Reed? The question came fast, direct. Marcus stopped, looked at her. Yes. Her eyes sharpened. I'm with independent media. She lifted her phone slightly. I've been informed something happened on this flight. Marcus studied her for a second. How? He asked. She didn't hesitate. Someone posted already. A pause. From inside the cabin, Marcus's grip on his phone tightened slightly, because that meant this was already out, already moving. Is it true? She asked. Marcus glanced past her. The airline officials were watching. Careful, measured. He looked back at her. It's documented. A beat. I'll release it. Her expression changed. Interest. Focus. Can you confirm discrimination? She asked. The word landed heavier out here. Public space. Public language. Marcus didn't rush. Yes. Silence. Then movement. The officials stepped closer. Mr. Reed. One said carefully, we prefer to handle this internally first. Marcus turned. Calm. It wasn't internal when it happened. The man paused. Marcus continued. It was public then. Beat. It stays public now. The journalist watched closely. Every word. Will you be releasing the footage today? She asked. Marcus nodded once. Yes. Behind him, passengers exited. Some slowed down, listening, because now this wasn't just a moment. It was a story, and stories spread. Fast. The supervisor stepped forward. Mr. Reed, she said, we're preparing a formal statement. Marcus looked at her. What will it say? She hesitated. That we're investigating. Marcus held her gaze. You already know what happened. Silence. She didn't deny it. Couldn't. The journalist spoke again. Will there be consequences? The question cut through everything. Sharp. Real. The airline official answered. We take these matters seriously. Marcus didn't react, because he had heard that before. Too many times. The journalist turned back to Marcus. Do you trust that? A pause. Marcus thought for a second, then answered, I trust evidence. That line stayed. The journalist nodded slowly. Then I'll be watching, she said. Marcus gave a small nod. You won't be the only one. A beat. because now eyes were everywhere. Phones, platforms, people. The system didn't control the narrative anymore. The truth did. Marcus stepped forward, past the officials, past the cameras, walking into the terminal. Calm, steady, but inside, something lingered. Not anger, not even frustration. Something quieter, heavier, because moments like this didn't end when the cameras stopped. They stayed, in memory, in pattern, in repetition. Behind him, the journalist lifted her phone again, recording him walking away, because even that was part of the story. And somewhere, online, clips were already spreading. Short, blurry, but enough. Enough to ask questions. Enough to demand answers. Marcus didn't look back, because he already knew this wasn't over. It had just gone public. He didn't rush it, didn't edit it, didn't add music. Just the truth. Clean, uncut. By the time he stepped into the main terminal, his phone buzzed. Once, then again, then nonstop. Notifications stacked. Messages, calls, mentions. Marcus glanced down. Didn't open anything yet. He kept walking, because he already knew what happens when truth spreads. It moves faster than control. Behind him, voices rose. Passengers talking, watching their own screens. It's already online, someone said. Marcus didn't turn. He walked toward the glass doors. But before he reached them, a voice stopped him. Mr. Reed. He turned. Two airline executives approached. Not crew, not cabin staff. Corporate, different presence. We need a moment, one said. Marcus studied them, then nodded. Walk with me. They moved to the side, away from the flow, but not private, not hidden. The executive spoke first. We reviewed the footage. Marcus said nothing. And we agree this is unacceptable. A pause. Marcus watched his face, looking for distance. Deflection. There wasn't much, but there was still caution. We are terminating the employee involved. The man continued. There it was. Fast, direct, but not enough. Marcus asked, immediately, yes. A beat. And publicly? Marcus added. The executive hesitated. We are preparing a statement. Marcus nodded slowly. That's not what I asked. Silence. The second executive stepped in. We will acknowledge the incident. Marcus held her gaze. And the reason? Another pause. Because that part was harder. Finally, yes, she said. Marcus nodded once. Good. A beat. Because the video already does. Silence. They knew he was right. Because now, this wasn't damage control. It was damage response. Marcus's phone buzzed again. He glanced down. The journalist. Live post. Views climbing. Fast. Comments flooding. Support. Anger. Questions. Public pressure. Already building. The executive spoke again. We'd also like to discuss further steps. Marcus looked up. What steps? Policy review. Training. Internal changes. Marcus listened, then asked, why now? The question landed clean. No emotion, just truth. The executive didn't answer right away, because the answer was obvious. Marcus gave it for him, because this time was recorded. Silence. The second executive nodded slowly. Yes, that honesty mattered, but it didn't erase anything. Marcus exhaled quietly. Then make sure the change is recorded too, he said. They looked at him, confused. Marcus clarified. Make it real. A pause. Because performative action was easy. Real change? Not so much. The first executive nodded. We understand. Marcus studied him, then said, I hope so. A beat, because this isn't rare. That line stayed. Heavy. The executives didn't argue. Couldn't, because now they had proof, and the world had seen it. Marcus stepped back slightly. Send me the statement before you release it, he said. The executive nodded. We will. A pause. Thank you for bringing this forward. Marcus shook his head. I didn't bring it forward. Beat. It was already there. He turned. walked toward the exit. The doors opened. Cool air outside, different from the cabin. Lighter, but not lighter inside. His phone buzzed again. He checked it this time. Headlines forming, clips spreading. His face. Her voice. The moment. Captured. Shared. Permanent. He stood there for a second, watching it happen. Not surprised. Just aware. Because justice didn't feel loud. Didn't feel victorious. It felt necessary and incomplete. Behind him, the airport kept moving. Flights arriving. Departures leaving. Routine continuing. Like nothing had changed. But something had. Even if small. Even if temporary. Marcus put his phone away. Took a step forward. Then another. Because the moment was over. But the impact was just beginning. The car ride was quiet. Too quiet. City lights moved past the window. Blurry. Distant. Marcus sat in the back seat. Hands resting still. Phone beside him. It had stopped buzzing now. Not because it ended, but because it had already exploded. The story was everywhere. Clips. Headlines. Opinions. But inside the car, none of that mattered. Because silence has weight. The driver glanced in the mirror. "You handled that well, sir." Marcus didn't answer right away. Then, "I handled it." A pause. The driver nodded. Didn't push. Because some moments don't need praise. They need space. Marcus looked down at his hands. Still steady. That part always surprised people. The calm. The control. But they didn't see what it cost. Didn't feel the tension held back. The words not said. The reactions buried. Calm wasn't natural. It was practice, built over years. Moment after moment, he leaned his head back slightly, closed his eyes, and for a second, the cabin came back. The smell, the tray, the words, people like you. His jaw tightened, just slightly, not anger, something deeper, familiar, because it wasn't new. That was the hardest part, not the moment itself, but how easily it fit into everything before it. The car slowed. Red light. Voices outside. Distant. Normal life. Marcus opened his eyes. Looked out the window. A group of people stood on the corner. Laughing. Talking. Unaware. Or maybe just untouched. His phone lit up again. A message. From the airline. He opened it. The statement. Carefully written. "We take this matter seriously." He read it once. Then again, same words, different order, accountability, commitment, investigation. Marcus exhaled, then forwarded it to his legal team, not out of anger, out of pattern, because statements were only words, and words needed follow-through. The car started moving again. He glanced at his reflection in the window, calm, always calm, but his eyes, tired, just slightly, because holding that line comes with weight. The driver spoke again. "Will you say more about it publicly?" Marcus thought for a moment, then, "No." A pause. The video said enough. And it had, because sometimes the truth doesn't need explanation. It just needs to be seen. The car pulled up to a building. Tall, glass, quiet. Marcus stepped out. Cool air hit his face. Different from before. Cleaner, but not lighter. He stood there for a second, looking up, then forward, walking toward the entrance. Each step steady, unchanged, because this didn't define him. It revealed something else, something bigger, something still unfinished. Inside, the lobby was quiet. Soft lights, marble floors. No tension, no eyes watching, just space. Marcus walked across it, alone, but not really, because moments like that flight don't stay behind. They follow, in memory, in habit, in awareness. He reached the elevator, pressed a button, waited. The doors opened. He stepped in, turned. For a brief second, he saw himself again. Reflection in the metal, calm, controlled, and something else. Resolved, not because it ended, but because he didn't stay silent. The doors closed. and the noise of the world faded, but the truth remained, quiet, steady, unavoidable, because justice isn't loud, it doesn't celebrate, it doesn't erase what happened, it simply stands, and sometimes that's enough.